I wrote this show because I turned 56 and went feral. I didn't realise when I turned 50, the world would change around me. Shortly after I went into my 50s, right, I got a parking ticket in Edinburgh, okay? And I was just like 2 minutes late, 2 minutes past the thing. And I got back, the parking warden was still there, right? And I was like, oh, come on, mate. I started flirting, do you know what I mean? Going, come on, I'm only a couple of minutes late. Because those are the rules. Women flirt, men are violent, right? That's how the world works, we all know. And he gave me a wink and I was like, oh, hello. Still got it, right? And he basically was like, look, I've already issued the parking ticket. So, you know, Edinburgh Council are actually really good at appealing parking tickets. So what you need to do when you get home, just go to the appeals bit and say something like, your grandson had an accident. Sorry, my what now? I didn't even have a child with me, right? This little upstart had just decided by looking at me that I clearly was a woman of a certain age, must have grandchildren, and that's all I did was go home and knit booties. And that is fine if that's what you want. But it's not what I want. I don't want to be defined by that. And I was out, so obviously I went home, went on the appeals and said my grandson was 6. I didn't think I looked old enough to have anyone over 6, right? And they do. It's a good tip. They do appeal your parking tickets, right? But that was the thing. In that moment, he judged me. He just judged me from looking at me. And we do that. I don't mind. That's what we do. We do it with everything. We judge people on what they're wearing, how they look, how they sound, where they went to school, what kind of job they've got. We even judge people. We judge people on their names. Now, I know your name is Ryan. Hi, Ryan. But we do. But the thing is, it's so ingrained, right? Because you know if somebody says, do you want to come and meet my friend Farquhar? You don't even have to meet Farquhar, right? You've already decided that Farquhar's a posh twat, right? Equally, Chantel, scum. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. But we do. We conjure up an image. We make a decision. We make snap decisions. Do you know who I feel sorry for? Karens. Honestly. Imagine being called Karen in this day and age. People just automatically assume you're a whinging old bastard, right? Most of them are, to be fair, but so 3 things happened in the last 3 years. I'm not even going to mention lockdowns. Well, I am, but 3 things happened in the last 3 years that brought me to the point that I'm standing on stage now. And that's the thing, significant things have happened. Obviously, there was the whole lockdown thing, which I struggled with it. I didn't cope with it very well. But 21st of April, 2020, happens to be my birthday. I mean, it's my birthday every year, but 21st of April, 2020, I was rushed to hospital with a suspected heart attack. So, I know, isn't it? Because and then I was like, oh my God, of course, it's the danger decade. Isn't it 50 to 60? That's heart attack, strokes, cancer. That's when they all say, yeah, you've passed it, well done. Did you say you've got 1 day until you're 60? What? Yes, so hang on, 24 hours, you'll be fine. But it's the danger decade. And so it was that thing. And it was the absolute height of lockdown. 21st of April, 2020, it was eerie. And they rushed me to hospital. Obviously, nobody could come with me. It was terrifying, actually genuinely terrifying. In an ambulance, all masked up, people are in hazmat suits. And I'm going, oh my God, this is it. I've smoked and I've drunk and I've taken drugs. And of course I'm going to die at 54. Why wouldn't you bloody idiot, right? Having all the regrets that I could possibly have. I'm lying in a hospital bed on my own, nobody there. My children, because it is my birthday, bless their cotton socks, right? They had, without my knowledge, they put together a little series of videos and messages from friends and family for my birthday because we couldn't get together, the lockdown. So they sent that to me whilst I was in hospital on my own, thinking I was dying. A series of messages with, we love you. See you on the other side. Just watching it going, this is like a living obituary. Didn't help at all. Happy birthday to me, all right? It transpired, they did all the tests. Then transpired, I wasn't having a heart attack, right? But what I was diagnosed with was something called costochondritis, which, in my defense, does present like a heart attack. It is, however, the medical term for sore ribs. I had been so bloody furious at lockdown. I was in such a bloody mood. I'd been gardening furiously. I'd just been out every day pulling up weeds going, this is fucking shit. I fucking hate this. And I'd pulled something and I felt so embarrassed. But it was the first thing that actually it did. It did a click of kind of my mortality. It can be that quick. And I know that I feel young in my head, right? I feel really young in my head. But I am getting older. I can't stop the passage of time, you know. So I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm nearly at a heart attack. And the second thing that happened was I separated from my husband, right? Obviously, my second husband, because I got 4 kids, they can't all have the same father. Those are other rules. And I was married to my ex-husband's brother, but that was a show several years ago. You need to catch up on my back catalogue. We don't have time to go into it today. Suffice to say, my children are cousins and I'm now Auntie Mummy. Let's just all bloody move on, right? But we still put a shift in, right? 23 years. We were married 23 years. And it was great. We actually went out for his birthday during one of the eat out to help out moments that they had. And we went out for his birthday. And after 23 years, do you know what I mean? Hard to know how to surprise somebody. So I asked him to leave. Yeah, little surprised face. Happy birthday to you. And we did. Did anyone else separate during the lockdown? It was very on brand. It was very trendy. And it was just one of those things. Do you know what? We're still a family. We're still very much a family. We're all still in the family WhatsApp group. No one's been kicked out. Nothing much has changed. He wants to go slower. I want to go faster. Nothing much has changed at all, really. I just don't suck his dick anymore. So... So absolutely nothing's changed. It's pretty much like we're still married. There's very little palpable difference, right? But it was odd. It was odd after splitting up. I mean, he had separated all our stuff out, and that felt weird. Do you know what I mean? We were separating all our things out, and do you know what? The amount of crap I have collected over the last, I don't know how many years, right? I was finding things I didn't even know I owned anymore. Genuinely, I was like, when did we even buy this crap? So much crap I've gathered. Although I did find I found a present I bought the kids for Christmas 10 years ago, because I remember buying it, right? Because I do that thing, you know, about October, start buying little bits and pieces, I wrap them and I stash them, and I think, oh, nobody will find them here, including me, it turned out. As soon as I saw it as well, I was like, oh my God, kids would have loved a puppy. So annoying. I'm kidding, it was a kitten. But it was odd. And, you know, single for the first time since 1989, that was weird. Don't get me wrong, hello, thank you. I am getting plenty of dates. Yeah, mainly from the NHS. Invite me to a breast screening. So that, because that's the thing, because of the passage of time, the older I get, I have got so many dates in my diary. Breast screening, bowel cancer test. Do you know what I mean? Because I love the way as well that they give you your appointment. It's like, we'd like to invite you to a breast screening. Like it's the cinema premiere release of your bosoms. Do you know what I mean? Next showing, Jojo's Knockers, right? The reality is, you usually have to climb into a trailer that's parked in the corner of some supermarket car park somewhere, where you are invited to stick your tits in a mangle, right? Every time I do it, I think if blokes had to put their cock in a mangle, God. Oh, you'd probably enjoy it, Ryan, I don't know why I'm complaining. Bowel cancer screening, do you know what I mean? They send a card in the post. What a shit card to get in the post. You have to shit in a stick. You young ones have no idea. You have to shit. You have to shit in a stick and then send it to Dundee as if living in Dundee isn't shit enough. Can you imagine the person that has that job? Who wakes up every day, goes to work and has to open shit in a card for a day? Horrific. And my body's changing. I can't help it. I fart now with no warning. Literally, my body just expels air and I go, who is that? Oh my God, it's me. Just like, oh God. And so I come, but I still feel young in my mind. I still feel young in my heart. And though the third thing that happened was I was invited last year to perform comedy at Glastonbury Festival. Get in, eh? I've never been before. Has anyone ever been? You miserable fuckers. Well, I tell you what, bloody go, right? I know one person's been, because my son's in the audience, Rory. He features in this show. But it was the most incredible fest. I've never been before. And do you know what? I felt like a kid in a candy shop. It was the most, the music, the sound, the lights, the smells. It was just like, oh my God, it was overwhelming. It was oversensory. It was just amazing. I have never seen so many middle-aged white people out of their depths on drugs. I swear to God, people are either on drugs, coming up on drugs, coming down on drugs. It was incredible. Everyone was just off their tits all weekend, right? My friend Steve, he's in his 50s, he'd lost his reading glasses, right? Oh, not according to Steve, he hadn't. Hey, man. They dematerialized. My glasses have dematerialized. Everyone's floating around really spiritual. It's just like, I was like this. And I was comparing the cabaret tent for 4 fucking hours because someone hadn't checked their contract properly. Why am I here for so long? And I had to take my son Rory with me. And it was just great. I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I said to Rory, right, as soon as I come off stage, I want a pill. Because I brought my children up really well, my son was outside that cabaret tent with his hand out, with an indigestion tablet in it. In his other hand, he had a bag of MDMA. What a weekend! What a weekend! Oh my God, I was everywhere. I was all over the county outside. I was singing, I was dancing. I was just like, I had sex in a tent with a fucking stranger. Now, there are some things that you are always too old for, and sex in a bloody tent is one of them. Honestly, Jesus, my knees. Oh. I had an absolute blast. And I lost my car keys. Fucking completed Glastonbury. It was just so much fun. Do you know why it was so much fun? I felt completely irresponsible. I felt like a kid again. I can't remember the last time I felt that free and just not giving a shit. I spent the last 30 years bringing up kids, being married, and I don't remember. I honestly, I have little spates of kind of going a bit feral and a bit mad and getting a bit pissed and, having fun. But genuinely, overall, being quite responsible. So it was like, the only time I can genuinely think about when I am still a kid is when I'm in my sibling group, right? Because for some reason, I haven't been allowed to grow up amongst my fucking siblings. I'm the youngest of 7, right? No, we're not Catholics. My parents were drunks. And it's a complicated thing, right? My mum was married once before. My dad, he was married twice before. My dad had a daughter from his first marriage, 2 sons from his second. My mum had a daughter and a son from her first marriage. Then she married my dad, had me and my brother. So my half-sister and my 2 half-brothers on my dad's side, a step-brother and sister, and my half-brother and my half-sister on my mother's side. Which makes me an attention-seeking prick. Look at me! But I don't, it doesn't matter. I'm 57 now, right? We went to a funeral recently. My sister turned to me, getting out of the funeral car, and she went, right, you, now, remember, behave yourself. I'm 57. And then my brother, he brought up the rear with, and don't swear. I'm like, oh, fuck off, right? And we kind of fall back in whenever we're in the same together, we all fall into our roles of where we are. And it's the same with my kids. All my 4 kids, even though they've been brought up together, they all behave really differently, right? And I think there's been a research study done on this, right? So I'm going to find out from you lot where you are in the pecking order of siblingness, right? So give me a cheer, all the only children. Oh, of course. Look at you. Oh, hi! That'll be me! Simply fabulous. Because only children, so according to the research, it's generalised, but do you know what I mean? According to the research, quite spoiled, princessy. I mean, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at the princess in front of me. Although apparently quite risk-averse because mollycoddled and kind of the only child, the only one, so, you know, kind of, yeah. Where are all my eldest children? Yes, indeed. Hello, yes. I love, again, hands up in the air. Yes, there we go. So according to the research, quite bossy, confident, but tend to be in sort of managerial and caring. What's your name? Caroline. Caroline, what do you do, Caroline? You're a hairdresser. See, people do things like looking after people, caring, managerial, quite bossy, chatty, talkative. No? Oh, have you got a little sister? Oh, yeah, well, the youngest and the eldest have quite a lot in common, apparently. Yeah. Oh, is she? Stop fucking with my algorithms. Cut this bit out. Where are all my eldest children? They tend to be quite bossy, confident, in managerial positions, nurturing, all that kind of stuff. And also because they tend to have looked after the little ones as well. So where are all my middle children? Oh, did you hear? Genuinely, you've forgotten that you are. And also, did you hear the difference in that? It was like, pathetic. Because they do say that, kind of middle children, they tend to be quite amenable, adaptable, dull. I didn't say dull, right? But I think it is. You're neither the youngest or the oldest and kind of caught in the middle. And genuinely, my middle child, Ailey, hello, she's always been kind of just adorably lovely. Kira's my eldest daughter, so she's kind of like the eldest. But yeah, the middle child syndrome, there's a syndrome for it, apparently. And then, where are all my youngest? Yes, I know, 2 hands in the air, look at us. We're bloody marvellous, aren't we? And because apparently youngest are very confident, yeah, manipulative. And my youngest is like that. Finn is my youngest, and she's absolutely stereotypical youngest child. She gets away with murder. She's absolutely manipulative. We've got the family WhatsApp group, right? We also have another WhatsApp group that doesn't have Finn in it. It's called the Money Pit, right? Because we found out after a while what she'd been doing. She'd basically been going around everybody. She'd come to me and go, can I get a tenner? I don't want to ask Dad. She'd go, Dad, I don't want to ask Mum. She'd go through all her brothers and sisters. She was raking it in. She had a proper little cottage industry going, right? And I love her dearly, but we don't get on, I think, because we're quite similar. Because from the day that she was born, she just had this attitude about her. 100% attitude. That in nursery, her first nursery report, and I quote, was... Finn needs encouragement to share resources and has strong opinions that she airs freely. Basically, your daughter's a gobby, selfish little bitch, right? And she is very proud of that. But when I split up from her dad and then I decided to give up my house, I went to Australia for a few months. And, you know, she was a bit, you know, she just left home. And I was like, look, I'm going off to Australia. But the older 3 had said to me, you need to have a word with her, right? Because you needn't think that we're just going to pick her up at the train station. She'll give you 10 minutes notice, Finn. She's like, somebody come and get me. Or, you know, she has everybody dangling off hooks. So I was like, right, okay. So I said, right, I'll have a chat with her. And I was like, listen, Finn, I'm going to be away in Australia for a few months. But, you know, Dad's here, your brothers and sisters are here. You know, they'll look after you. But just consider them for a minute. You know, it's not all about you. Just think that other people have their own lives that they need to lead. She was like, yeah, whatever. Oh, this is getting through, right? And I said, honestly, it's not the first time I've had this conversation with her. I was like, why do you keep doing this? Why do you just click your fingers and expect everybody just to do everything for you? She went, really? I went, yeah. She went, well, I just see you all as bit players in the story of my life. I didn't know whether to be utterly appalled or completely in awe of her. It was just like, basically, she sees me enter Mother stage right, give me a 10, and I fuck off, right? And it was just that complete kind of arrogance and confidence. You couldn't fault it, right? But then she also said something that really resonated with me. She said, oh, by the way, when you go to Australia, don't bother coming back with a new dad for me. Me think. I was like, oh my God, is that how she sees me? Is that how the other kids see me now that I've separated? Do they not see me having another relationship? And it's like, I don't particularly want one, but never say never. You never know who you might fall in love with. But I was like, what? I said, what? I can't meet anybody. I can't go on a date. And she went, yeah, I suppose you can go on some dates, but just so long as I don't know about it. Well, obviously not. Do you know what I mean? Imagine when I was horizontal for refreshment in the Glastonbury tent, I decided to halfway through go, just need to phone Finn, tell her what I'm up to. Of course you're not going to bloody know about it. But it did make me think, and that's it. But I don't know how to meet somebody, and also because I travel all over the world, and you know it's hard to meet people. And somebody had suggested a dating site. Now, has anyone tried dating sites? This is a whole new thing. Oh, have you? Have you tried? Which ones have you tried? All of them. Met anybody? Yeah. I found them terrifying. Genuinely, I found them terrifying because it's just not anything I'm used to. And there's Tinder, there's Hinge. Somebody suggested Bumble, right? So Bumble is the one, if you don't know, where the woman makes the first approach, the men can't approach the women. So I was like, oh, that sounds, do you mean, kind of safer? I thought, all right, okay, I'll give it a go. I lasted 24 hours, honestly. Do you know what it reminded me of? Selling my house. Right, honestly, because you put your picture up like you're in the estate agent's window. And though men can't talk to you, they can view you, right? Like they're buying a house and put in notes of interest, right? I spoke to one guy. I only spoke to one guy. His name, he was called Fat Phil 69, right? Shush. Right, there's a reason, right? Because he looked quite nice. He did look quite nice, and I thought, if he's called Fat Phil 69, then obviously he's got a sense of humour. So I was just kind of like, all right, okay. And I was like, oh, hello, I'm very new to this. Not quite sure what I'm doing. He replied straight back, and he went, have you ever been to a swingers club? It's like, I haven't even invited you around my house, and you want bloody lodgers. Jesus. And I think I probably didn't help myself because I did my description like I was selling my house. So I put my picture, put my name, and then I was built in the 60s, in need of some renovation, full of character, front and rear parking. It's genuinely my favourite joke. Emphasis on the word joke, obviously. But I don't know, it wasn't for me. Do you know what I mean? The old-fashioned way, eyes across a bar, meet someone. Because I do travel so much. And it's that thing, because I'm on the road constantly, but I am getting older. I can't stop the passage of time, like I say. And I was in Sheffield recently, and I checked into a hotel. And you know that way, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was knackered. I might have had a few sherries. And And I got to my room, checked in, got to my room. I don't know if there's a global conspiracy, and I love a conspiracy, but I think there is a global conspiracy that the first time you use your key on a hotel door, it doesn't work. I was like, so I traipsed back down to reception. I was like, and I honestly gave the receptionist the mum stare. I felt a bit bad. I was like, my room key's not working. I'm room 427. She was like, oh, sorry. Gave me the key, and I went back up to my room, went in, worked. Opened the door. Look in, there's a pair of shoes. Like, why are there shoes in my room, right? And then I looked further in the room, there's some clothes hanging off the back of a chair, and I'm like, why are there clothes hanging off the back? Do you know that way when something just doesn't make sense? And also, because I'm of an age now, this is where I honestly think, is this the start of dementia? Is this Alzheimer's? Do you know what I mean? I got in the bath the other day with my watch on. I've never done that in 57 years. I'm like, am I going mental? Or the menopause, right? Where are all my menopausal women? Yeah. Oh, in it, right? I think I'm past the other side, but honestly, menopause brain, I didn't realise it lasted so long, right? It lasts forever. And the doctor had said to me that she thought I was menopausal. I was like, oh, really, do you? But I didn't realise it was genetic. Did you know it was genetic? So apparently, how you go through the menopause is similar to how your mother went through the menopause. So the doctor had asked me, do you remember how your mother went through the menopause? I said, oh yes, I do. She was 56, had a nervous breakdown and ended up in a loony bin. I know. And then the doctor was very reassuring because she was like, well, it's different now. We don't call them loony bins. So that felt good, right? But all this is going through my head. I felt like Goldilocks and the Three Bears because I was just like, why are there two people having sex in my bed? Honestly, there was two people having sex in my room. I was just like, what is going on? And the most awkward conversation then started going on where I was like, I'm in room 47. They were like, no, we're in room 47. I was like, yeah, but that's my room, right? And I don't like being wrong, so I was, And I shit you not, he looked like Fat Phil 69. And then thought, oh, it can't be him, there's not enough people here. Oh. So I'm just having this thing. And the best way to describe it, I'm having this really awkward conversation with this couple who are naked in bed, and I'm going, what? You know when you get really drunk, right? You get absolutely smashed, and then you wake up the next day with an absolute hangover, and your brain decides that you can't have all the information about what you did the night before all in one go. So it decides to drip feed your memory back to you in nice little bite-sized chunks. That's basically what was happening. I just finally was like, oh, I was in room 427 last night in a different hotel in a different fucking city. I'd just forgotten. I was tired. And then I felt like an idiot and I was having to apologise, and I don't like doing that either. But obviously then I had to go back down to reception and then say to the poor girl, right? And because I was like, I'm really sorry, I'm not in room 47. And she instantly realised she shouldn't have just given me the key. She should have checked it on the computer system. But I'd just given her the mum stare. I suspect she was probably a middle child. And so you could see the panic in her face going, oh my God, I should have checked the computer. And she just said, was there anybody in the room? I went, no. Which makes no bloody sense, right? Because if there'd been no one in the room, I would have got in the bed and bloody slept in it. So both of us knew we were being arseholes, so just scuttled away. So when I lost my car keys at Glastonbury, that was the first thing people were saying. It was just like, oh, you bloody old fool, you idiot, where have you put them? No, I hadn't. What had happened, we'd arrived at Glastonbury, right? We got there, we put the tent up. The first thing I did was say to Rory, here's the car keys. I'm going to put them in a little pocket here, safe, nice and safe, and then we know where they are. Okay? So like I say, I was oversensory. It was amazing. We went out for a little recce. I went to find where the production tent was, found the artist bar. It was the first Glastonbury for 3 years. So I was seeing people I hadn't seen in ages, like old colleagues, friends. I was just like, oh my God, I was quite giddy, having hugs, all the rest of it. And then I was like, oh my God, looking at the time, I was like, oh, I better get a wriggle on. And remembered I'd left my towel in the car. So I went, I got my keys, went and got my towel out of the car, went, locked the car, put the keys in my bum bag. Then I thought, oh, I'll get a couple of beers from the production tent to take on stage. Did that, went and had a shower, got ready, keys were in my bum bag, went and did a gig, came off stage, and as I've already told you, took a fuck ton of MDMA. I remember little of the evening. I do remember I stayed up all night, apart from one small sojourn into a tent, but had the best night. It was just great, just all over the place, having the most wonderful time. And then the next morning, I just lying on the grass, just taking it all in, just going, this is fucking amazing. Feeling a little bit second-hand, not gonna lie. But then my memory went, oh, bloody car keys. Put them back in the safe space. So I went into my bum bag, and I was like, where's my keys? You know that horrible sinking feeling where you go, no, they must be here. No, calm down, they must be here. You put them in there, so they must be there. And it's all about 7 different zips, going into all the different zips, going, where are they, And then I'm panicking, and I'm emptying the bag out. It's like, oh, where? And then I'm saying to people, I was like, I've lost my car keys. Rudy, I've lost my car keys. People, they'll find it, don't worry. Fucking Steve wasn't being any help. They'll have dematerialised. Hey, man, they'll have dematerialised. I'm like, shut up, Steve, he's not helping. Oh, I checked in the tent. I went to the production tent. I was like, I've lost my keys. They were like, don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean? They were like, well, maybe if you retrace your footsteps. You having a laugh? I've no fucking idea where I've been, right? I Googled lost keys at Glastonbury. Just endless photographs of piles of keys that other people have lost at Glastonbury over the years. I saw a tweet that said that the AA were there, key assist at AA were there. I was like, fucking brilliant. I'm out there going, AA, find that, I've got that, I need the AA. Genuinely, people thought I was looking for the Alcoholics Anonymous tent. They have an Alcoholics Anonymous tent, and I get it, right? There's a woman in her 50s on a come down going, yeah, you really should go and fucking, you should go and speak to somebody, lady, right? And I didn't know what to do. I was just like, oh my God. And then somebody else said, have you found the keys? I was like, no. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And they went, do you know what you should do in this situation, really, is take more drugs. So that's what I did. Then I was very optimistic I was going to find my keys. It's like, oh, they'll turn up. It's absolutely fine. Because I am an eternal optimist. My friend Gowan's always said to me, that's my best quality, right? She's like, you know your best quality, Jojo? Your eternal optimism. I was like, oh, that's lovely, isn't it? I was like, what's my worst quality? She went, your eternal fucking optimism. But I took a fuck ton of more drugs, right? Paul McCartney was on the Pyramid stage. He was 80. It was his birthday. He was dancing all over the place. It was just, everyone was having the time of their lives. And I was just like, in a world of my own, like I say, just being a reckless, irresponsible child. It was fabulous, right? And I still don't remember how I fixed getting the car, tried to get the key. I think I phoned my breakdown or something. Anyway, it was organised that on Monday morning, the day that we're meant to leave Glastonbury, I'd got a locksmith, was going to come, cut me a new key, and then we'd go sail up on the road. Fucking perfect, right? So I'm waiting, 10 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call from Hannah, the locksmith. There we go, judging. Lady, does locks. Instantly, I went, oh, honestly, did go, a woman? Right, okay. So Hannah, she phones me, says I'll be there in 20 minutes. She phones me back to say she's had an accident and she's waiting for the RAC to recover her. That's going to take however long it takes. It takes 4 hours. Then she gets to the gates of Glastonbury. Remember, everyone's leaving. She arrives. She can't get in. She needs a security pass. I'm like, everybody's bloody leaving. That takes another an hour and a half. By the time we finally got her on site, it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something. She gets on site. She does a little jiggly thing with the keys. She gets the key. It's amazing. She just cuts this new key for my car, puts it in the door, turns it. Fuck all happens. Like, why is that not working, Hannah? She's like, well, could be the battery's flat, could just, for various different reasons, just could be stuck. I was like, all right, well, what do we do now? And she was like, well, don't worry, I've got plenty of ideas. And so she does. She phones her boss. She's using YouTube tutorials. She's got little things that she blows up to try and open the window a little bit. She's got rods that she's poking down. At one point, this is incredible, at one point, she gets the key, she wraps it in a rod, she feeds it through the hole in the window to try and get it into the ignition. And I'm just looking at her going, have you been on drugs all weekend, Hannah? It's a fucking ridiculous idea, right? Absolutely nothing works. Nothing works. She tries her bloody damnedest, right? She's there for hours. She eventually gets a phone call that says she's been on the job too long and she's going to have to leave. I was like, you can't leave me in a field in bloody Somerset with a car that doesn't work and a key that's dodgy, right? She's like, well, I think the only thing I can suggest now is that you break the window. I was like, do you know what? I've had such a great time. I don't give a shit, right? I'm like, yeah, go on, Hannah, smash the window. She's like, oh, no, it's against company policy for us to smash the window. Oh, really? Is it, Hannah? I'm going off you. Eventually, harder than you think to smash a bloody car window. You've got to get a right little bit in the corner, just top down. So she gives me a hammer. She gives me a hammer that I hand to Rory. He's hammering away, nearly takes his shoulder out, hammering in. Finally, glass everywhere. You're not meant to take glass into Glastonbury, but there's fucking glass everywhere. The key works in the ignition and we're off, so it's fine. We can't drive back to Scotland. We check into a travel lodge. We get up the next morning. We spend 450 fucking quid on autoglass to get a new glass to paint it and everything. And we come back up the road, although genuinely, the sun was splitting the sky. We got in that car and both of us immediately put our windows down. Oh, it's bloody hot in here. So we're driving back, and it's just been the adventure of my life. And I've been with my son. I've taken drugs with my son, right? Now, people will judge that. I know people will judge that because we judge people, but I think we're a product of our environment. I've always had quite an open and, relationship with my kids about alcohol and drugs, and I've never been that strict with them. And the reason for that, genuinely, when they were quite small, I remember reading an article in the evening news, actually. It was an awful story about this girl. She was 19, she'd been at the Hive, she'd been at the Hive, she'd got drunk, she'd taken a load of drugs, and she couldn't get a taxi, right? She couldn't get a taxi, and she didn't want to phone her parents, because her parents had always said, if you ever take drugs, we'll kill you. Right? So she didn't phone a taxi. She decided to walk home. She walked home, she was hit and killed by a car. And I remember reading that and thinking, I never want my kids to be so scared to not tell me that they've done something stupid, or that they think they'll get judged, or that, there'll be some ramifications. Do you know what I mean? I've probably gone the other way. Jesus, I'm so fucking lax with them. I've told them I'll help them bury the bodies, but in the words of Finn, it is, I do. I firmly believe, strict parents raise sneaky kids. And so I've always been kind of open and honest with them about it. And because I'm a product of my environment, genuinely, because when I was 24, my mum died when I was 24. And it was that thing as well. She died 2 weeks before the first birth of her first grandchild, my son. Which she always said she'd rather die than be a granny. Okay. Nailed it! But she was only 61. She was only 61. And I don't know if bloody death is genetic, like the menopause. If death's genetic, I've only got 4 years left, right? TikTok, let's get fucking on with this. And because I've always brought my kids up to live without me, because of my experience. It's not that I want them to live without me. I need them to want me. I don't want them to need me. And because of the death of my mother, and that's when COVID happened, I wasn't scared of dying. I wasn't scared of dying. I was scared of not living. And we weren't allowed to live. We weren't allowed to live for fucking 3 years or however long it was. Boris Johnson had the absolute fucking audacity to cancel Christmas and stand in front of a nation and say, it's all right, you can have Christmas together next year. We don't know that. Whether it's a heart attack, a car crash, or a fucking virus. We don't know how long we've got left. We genuinely don't. And so one of the reasons, when we did finally get together legally, do you remember when it was fucking illegal to see your fucking family when we were all lying about living in the same fucking household so we could get a fucking drink. The first time that we all got together in a restaurant where there was no restrictions, there was no lying about same household, my kids phoned me up and said, right, we're going to take you out for dinner, Mum. Our treat. You don't turn that shit down, right? And bless them, they took me to an eye-wateringly expensive restaurant in Edinburgh. What a good time. We had such a laugh. You know, when you first got seeing people, it was just great. We were laughing and joking. I nipped to the loo and I came back and they were just, I just looked at them and they were proper laughing. My son had his arm around his sister. It was just like, I was proper giggling because they've not always got on. My kids have not always got on. They've all very different. And when I had Rory and then Kira was born, he hated her. On sight, detested the bones of her, right? He would cut her hair, he covered her in talcum powder, he painted her orange with Dulux paint, and then constantly would say, I hate her. I hate her. Couldn't stand her, right? So when I got pregnant the third time, he was desperate for a brother. Absolutely desperate for a brother. And you can't make these things happen. But I got a scan to find out what I was having, and it was Ailey. It was a girl. So I sat Rory down, genuinely shitting myself. I was like, how am I gonna tell him this? How I'm gonna break this to him, right? I sat him down and I said, you know, I'm having a baby. He was like, yay, brother. I was like, well. I said, actually, you're going to have another sister. His face lit up, and I was like, has he understood what I'm saying, right? Until I realised, he then said, brilliant. When does Kira leave? That boy genuinely thought he was getting another sister. Well, this one clearly hasn't worked out yet. Bin it and move on. Oh. So to watch them all, to just see them all laughing and joking and just having the best time, I took a moment, I genuinely did, and I've said this to loads of people. I saw my empty chair at the table where I'd been sitting, and I looked at them laughing. I was like, do you know what? There's going to be a day I'm not here. There's going to be a day none of us are here. Sorry to break it to you. And I just felt, for the first time in bloody months and months and months, I felt quite content. I looked at them, I thought, you know what? They're going to be all right, you know? They're going to be all right. I've brought them up. They're going to be all right. I felt really proud of myself, right? I sat down, and Kira, who's actually my favourite, she knew something was up, and I sat down, she grabbed my hand, she was like, Mum, we absolutely can't afford this, can you get it? They're fucked, aren't they? They're absolutely fucked. I'm not going anywhere, far too special to die. But it was all of that. It was that combination, all of those things that had happened. And so driving back up from Glastonbury with Rory, it was a culmination of so many different things that had happened. And I dropped him off and I went back to my house, which was empty, living on my own. And I was just like, and I did the usual things. I got back and I stuck the kettle on, had a cup of tea, put a wash on, just sitting there, just thinking about everything. And then just in the silence of my own house, from the washing machine, I heard... clunk. Clunk, clunk, clunk. Clunkety clunk. Clunk, clunk. I was like, how the fuck, right? I had searched everywhere. I was like, you absolute idiot, you are an old fool, you're a bloody idiot, you tried to recapture your youth, you spent a fortune, your fucking car keys in the fucking washing machine, you absolute bloody moron, right? I sat in front of that washer, it was a 3.5 hour bloody cycle to get the mud out from Glastonbury. 3.5 hours I sat and fucking stared in the window of a bloody washing machine. Finally ended. I opened up, wrenched that door, I pulled all the clothes out. It wasn't my car keys. It was Steve's fucking reading glasses. Dematerialized my arse. And do you know the worst bit about it? I have no idea to this day if it was Steve I fucked. So I've no idea. I never want to find out. I never, ever want to find out. Shit, you know. But I proper laughed. I sat on the floor and I laughed my bloody guts up. And I've been laughing ever since. And that is the reason I'm here now. Basically, I took a leaf out of Finn's book. And I am now the main character in the story of my life. Thank you all very much for being my bit players.